Oh, Henry.
Yes, Liza.
Go fetch me some water.
Fetch you some water. There's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. A hole in my bucket, dear Liza, a hole.
Well, fix it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Fix it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Fix it.
With what shall I fix it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I fix it, dear Liza? With what?
With a straw, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Use a straw, dear Henry, dear Henry. A straw.
But the straw is too long, dear Liza, dear Liza. The straw is too long, dear Liza, too long.
Then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Cut it.
With what shall I cut it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I cut it, dear Liza? With what?
With an axe, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Use an axe, dear Henry, dear Henry. An axe.
But the axe is too dull, dear Liza, dear Liza. The axe is too dull, dear Liza, too dull.
Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Hone it.
With what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I hone it, dear Liza? With what?
With a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Use a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry. A stone.
But the stone is too dry, dear Liza, dear Liza. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, too dry.
Then wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Wet it.
With what shall I wet it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I wet it, dear Liza? With what?
With water, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Use water, dear Henry, dear Henry. Use water.
With what shall I fetch it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I fetch it, dear Liza? With what?
With a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Use a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry. A bucket.
But there's a hole in my bucket. Thank you. We are so glad to be here. Thank you so much. Citizens of Richland, hear me out. This could happen to you. Now let me tell you the story of a man named Charlie, the tragic and faithful day. He put 10 cents in my pocket, kissed my wife and family, to ride on the MTA. Will he ever return? No, he'll never return, and his fate is still unlearned. He will ride forever neath the streets of Boston. He's the man who never returned. Charlie had his time at the Gettysburg Station, changed for Jamaica plane. When he got there, the conductor told him, one more nickel. Charlie couldn't get off that train. Everybody, will he ever return? No, he'll never return, and his fate is still unlearned. He will ride forever neath the streets of Boston. He's the man who never returned. Now all night long, Charlie rides to that station, crying, what will become of me?
How can I afford to see my sister in Chelsea, my cousin in Roxbury?
Will he ever return? No, he'll never return, and his fate is still unlearned. He may ride forever neath the streets of Boston. He's the man who never returned.
Charlie's wife goes down to the Scully station every day at 2:15. And through the open window she hands Charlie a sandwich. The train comes rumbling through. Why not a nickel? Will he ever return?
No, he'll never return, and his fate is still unlearned. He may ride forever neath the streets of Boston. He's the man who never returned.
Now, you citizens of Richmond, don't you think it's a scandal? The way the people have to pay and pay. Fight that fare in Greece, vote for George O'Brien, get poor Charlie off that hill. Or else he'll never return,
No, he'll never return, and his fate will still unlearn. He may ride forever neath the streets of Boston. He's the man who never returned. He's the man who never returned. He's the man who never